of Channel 10. Today's social issues, opioid crisis, addiction, with Maria Perut. Maria, can you tell us what kind of crisis this is, why it's important, and tell us why classifying a crisis matters?
Okay, Roberto, thank you for having me here. Drug addiction and the opioid crisis affecting the country is an epidemic that is rampantly impacting our country. It is a social crisis, a public health crisis that is causing deaths every 5 minutes as a consequence of it. Opioid-related deaths continue to rise. Heroin overdose deaths were overtaken by the spike in synthetic opioids called fentanyl, with 108,000 drugs overdoses in 2022 alone. It is heartbreaking, unprecedented in the history of this nation. It is a nationwide problem and will take time to solve it with policy measures. As crisis has evolved over the decades and the same direction researchers trying to understand it, to serve the affected, they have disguised different theories focusing on different issues like the individual and the ecosystem. Cognitive factors, emotional factors, precipitating factors, and how to access the crisis techniques depending on the intensity of the crisis and the approaches for the intervention needed. All theories are necessary to know how to address the crisis.
You use theory in your crisis work. How do you use it? How does it work?
There is no one-size-fits-all in this case. I like the ecological model that recognizes ecological factors and the impact of a crisis. The concept of an ecological perspective is based on the idea that crises occur in a context shaped by social factors. I like the ABC model. I like the first A model. And Robert's 7-stage model seems appropriate for mental health-related crises and addictions. I will also use the 7 steps from the Colombian model to assess suicidal ideation victims.
Let's talk about the concept of resiliency. Can you share with us why some people respond differently to the same crisis? I mean, why does it appear that some people get over it while others can't? Why can't they see they survive and lives go on?
Yes, Roberto. Resilience is the capacity of an individual or natural system to prepare for disruptions, to recover from shock and stresses, and to adapt and grow from a disruptive expression. People respond differently to the same crisis because their core variables are different biologically, psychologically. Core similarities are to escape, avoid, deflect, replace, gravitate, and beyond. Some will freeze or others will flee. Why some people just get over it while others can't? Well, people respond to crises differently. Some may verbalize getting help and they overcome the crisis, while others will not. People who get help over a crisis develop coping skills, while others do not. They may develop ASD or any other pathological disorders, okay? So once a client's subjective distress has been accessed, the crisis worker may offer them coping strategies to survive the crisis. In regards to the questions why can they see that they survive and life goes on, like in another case, why they are becoming pessimistic about their future? Well, optimism and coping styles may alter the effects of the stressful event with stress reduction. Optimism, personality, and coping mechanisms such adaptation are factors. Resiliency is related to a combination of factors, while extroversion, openness to the experience, and controlled coping are helping. In this case, the concept of hope has a lot to do with it, okay?
As a crisis responder, you know how difficult this work can be. How you take care of yourself when you are working with so many people who are experiencing this crisis. And for some of our viewers who are helping people with this crisis, what kind of advice do you have for them with regard to care of themselves while caring for others?
Yes, Roberto, this is an interesting question, and I used to ask that myself every time I see the EMS personnel that are on the road attending to people, are always running and rushing, trying to save lives. God bless them. I am self-aware that constant exposure to trauma can lead to secondary trauma and PTSD. So I have learned to be vigilant when there is the stress of overwhelming circumstances and try to take time off to practice the decompressing techniques we have learned, and to have a support system with peers, workers, and take a break, do things I enjoy in solitude, go to a walk, go to nature, relax, listen to music, meditation techniques, hobbies, go somewhere, etc.
Maria, thank you for helping us understand the responders' role in the opioid crisis for our Channel 10 viewers.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you very much for the interview. It was exciting. Thank you for having me. See you another time.